G. Hi, my name's Avery G. I was a part of the Pinehaven program a few years ago, starting in March of 2015 and ending in December of 2016. And that year and 9 months has had one of the largest impacts on my life. I never thought I'd miss this place once I left, but I was wrong and John was right. I wanted to come back as soon as I left. And my home in Canada just didn't seem right. There was no more getting up at 5 in the morning to go milking cows, and there was no real solid routine either. And that's when the challenge really started for me. I had to put into practice everything that I had learned here into real-world applications. For example, during the summer times when we would go do firewood, we used to drag tree limbs day after day, and it was boring. I used to drink gallons of water a day just to pass the time, and I thought watching paint dry would probably be a little bit more exciting. And fast forward a bunch of months, and while I was walking home from school one day, I saw this tree fell across half the road, and being the kid I was, I went home, grabbed my hunting bag, and took a saw out and started de-limbing the tree so I could get that moved off the road. And never thought I'd be dragging limbs ever since I left the ranch. But really, things you can learn here can really help you make a better person elsewhere, but only if you're willing. While I was a ranch kid, John had told me and the rest of the boys in my house to keep ourselves above reproach and to hold ourselves accountable for what we do. A lot of us wasn't really doing that at the time, and I listened, and now I do my best to keep myself above reproach and accountable for what I do. And if I can't be above reproach, then I make sure to own up to my mistakes and stand by what I've said and done. If I make a mistake, say that again, then I will make sure I know. Because when we don't stand by what we say, our word becomes null, and a man with his word is supposed to mean something. And that's when I came up with 3 rules to live as a ranch kid. And that was to pay attention, do what you're told, and don't talk too much. So I like to play a lot of video games, and I understand most of the analogies I hear around, but I feel this one most people can understand. So once you spawn, or once you're born, you go through 18 levels of tutorial, or 18 years of learning things. And the first few are just interactive cutscenes, like you just watch a video and get to decide the ending. And when you're at level 5 and 6, you unlock different skill trees, like friendship and knowledge. And we go to school to keep leveling these things up, making friends and learning different things. Once we get to level 17 or 18, we finish the tutorial and realize that it really just gave us the basics, and now we have to decide what we're going to do next. And how we live the tutorial will affect how we play the rest of the game and how we see things. Right now I'm at a point where I'm finished. This is the biggest goal that I've had for 13 years, ever since I started kindergarten, and it's been accomplished. The next series of levels is just starting for me. I don't know where I'm headed, but I'm excited to find out.
Belgium, Washington.
My name is Belgium, Washington. I've been at Pinehaven for about 1.5 years now. I'm from Mount Vernon, Illinois. I was raised there all my life. I don't remember much from the first couple years of my life, but the main thing I remember was being in and out of DCFS. When I was 7 years old, I started to get into drugs and criminal activity. And when I was 13, I got arrested for the first time, and then after that, I was in and out of jail. I had been locked up for about 5 months before my judge had told me about Pinehaven. At first, I wasn't sure about going because when she was showing me pictures of Roundup, and I was like, I'm not going to be wrestling no cows and get myself killed. But when she told me how it could help me get out of jail and change my life in a good way, I was all for it. Finally, it was the day I was coming to Pinehaven, and I thought to myself that this probably isn't going to last long. My mom, my sister Jasmine, my cousin Briasha came to see me off and helped lift my spirits and encouraged me to keep trying until the end. I'm so thankful to have a supportive family like that in my life. I came here and was put in the White House with Bill and Sherry Coulter. They stuck by me even when I was disrespectful and treated them nasty. I'm so blessed that they're in my life, and I'm also blessed to have new brothers and sisters. God has really worked in me through them, and I'm changed thanks to Christ and you guys. Sherry, my house mom, has really changed my life. She has taught me so much. I remember all the times I would be mad, and she would just come over and sit down and talk to me, and I wouldn't be mad anymore. She taught me that life is too short to be getting mad over things, especially the small ones. I thank God that you're in my life and that you'll always be a part of my life. Many times I've fallen on my face, yet you don't turn away. Thank you, Sherry, for the love and the grace that you've shown me and disciplined me in my weaknesses to help them become strengths, and I love you. Bill, my house dad, has really given me a lot to laugh about. Many times he's made me laugh when I start to feel down, and then many times he teases me. Thank you, Bill, for the many times you made me laugh so hard where I almost cried. But not so much for the times I was annoyed or I couldn't do anything back. Thank you for showing me what it means to be a man and accept my punishment for my mistakes. You taught me that even when I get punished, I should be thankful that you and Sherry loved me enough to stop making those same mistakes and ruin my life. I'm so thankful to have a second dad like you in my life. I also want to thank every one of my new siblings for all the good memories, but not so much for the annoying ones. I'm so blessed to call you guys my family. I also want to thank all the staff and the house parents at Pinehaven and anyone who supports Pinehaven in many ways. Thanks for keeping Pinehaven going, because without it, my life would be a wreck. I also want to thank Miss Larson, Miss L, Lori, and Craig for making my graduation possible. You have helped me in my education and in my devotions that you've given me. Last but not least, I want to thank Bob and Nancy for making Pinehaven possible. To all Pinehaven students, Christ says that if we love him, we will obey his commandments. If we love him, we will give up our own desires and wants and follow him. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power, not only at Pinehaven, but also when you leave here. Remember, we are in the world, but not of it. So no matter what the devil throws at us, he can't hurt us if we have the full armor of God on us and stay firmly grounded in him. There's a saying that says what's right isn't always popular, but what's popular isn't always right. You don't have to follow the crowd and do what everybody else is doing. Stand out and don't be afraid if you seem like an outcast to others. You don't have to have the best things to be cool, but to be a light that shines in the world, a light that shines for Christ. Christ in Pinehaven has done so much in my life, and because of them, my life is spared and I'm a different person. Thank you, Pinehaven, for who I am today. I stand here because Christ in Pinehaven made it possible. I love you, and every day I remember what you've done for me.
Hayden Wood.
Hello, my name is Hayden Wood. I was born June 7, 2002 in Colorado. At age 2, I was adopted, and then after Colorado, moved to Illinois for 3 years, and then to Germany for 3 as well. That was a really neat experience. Then from Germany, we moved back to Colorado, where we lived until I moved up here in December 2017. Then my family moved up to Kalispell the next summer. When I moved up here, my house parents were Bill and Sherry Coulter. I'm so thankful of every place in my life. They were willing to sacrifice their time and energy to help, and were always available just to talk. Sherry showed me the quality of taking care of others and serving the best for guests. My first summer here, I spent quite a bit of time helping her in the kitchen with groups. I remember her going out of her way to make sure that the guests always had the best food and service. And I'm really thankful for all the time that we spent together and for you always being there. Bill, my house dad, probably made the biggest change in me when I was here. He was always there to help us, and he set a great example for us boys to follow. I remember whenever we had a new chore to do, he would always make sure that we left it better than when we got there. I'm really grateful for having you in my life, and I know that I'll always be able to call you my friend. I would like to take a minute to thank my family for the sacrifice that they were willing to make, for the opportunity for me to grow and mature. I'd like to thank my mom and dad especially for the sacrifices that they were willing to make and for always being there for me. And I want to thank Rick for modeling the type of godly man which I want to become, and for Lisa teaching foundations, and for John always willing to say the hard thing even when it's not what I want him to hear. I want to thank Elvin for being an awesome shop teacher and teaching me some finer points of woodworking and bowling at least. For Jeff and Deborah being great relief parents and always available to help whenever needed. And last but not least, I want to thank Audrey Larson for being an amazing teacher, for helping me navigate my credits so I graduate early, and for just being our teacher. The sacrifices she had to make and the refuge she had didn't make a difference in the way that she treated us students. I will always be grateful to her. Love is patient and kind. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. 1 Corinthians 13, 4, 7, and 8. I think that this passage sums up my time here at Pinehaven. It was love that sent me here. My parents were willing to make that sacrifices so that I could mature and grow. It was love that helped me here. I was able to see that everyone was on my side and fighting for me, not against me. And it is love that will guide my path into the future, always being able to lean on those who love me when I need help. If I don't have love, I'm nothing. I'm very grateful for the time that I spent here, for the changes that are brought in my own life and that in others. God is so very much at work here, as Pinehaven gives kids the opportunity to grow and mature. He was able to take my circumstances and use them to glorify Him and not me. I would be nothing without God, and I pray that I can be the man that God wants me to be.